Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Vitkovic, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you. I will try to make, let's say, presentation or webinar about these learning methodologies. But first, I will try to introduce my university and faculty very short, and then we will continue with the topic of today's webinar. But of course, I was very, let's say like this, puzzled how to create this webinar because there are so many things to say. There's the depth of some methodologies is very high, but I decided to create one, let's say, a set of different methodologies and to introduce one new methodology, which will or let's say, which we use today in our education system, and it's proven like a good one. We developed that methodology some, let's say, 1 or 2 years ago, and we applied for several Horizon and Erasmus Plus projects by using this methodology, and we currently have 3 projects using it, so it will be good to just introduce you. Also, I will show some of the platforms that we and our partners developed concerning e-learning. And also, I will add one addition. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time. Maybe 10 webinars would be sufficient to demonstrate how you can use Unity for VR and to create virtual content for education, not just education, for different purposes. And I will just give some short introduction, but I hope if we organize some future webinars or something else, we can provide more in-depth information about creating that kind of content like VR, AR, or XR simulation. So this is in general what we'll be speaking of. But first, as dear Svetlana told you, I came from University of Niš, Serbia. We are here on the map, as you can see, because today we are also playing a football match with Slovenia Europe Championship. So we will see how we go. But this is our place in the world. On the right side, you can see our university building at day and night. It looks pretty at night. And we are, let's say, medium-sized university. We have 14 faculties, but we constantly grow. And our faculty of mechanical engineering, is my faculty, of course, and I must represent him. So we are just one faculty of our university concerning about mechanical engineering and application. Applications are vast. We are in, I don't know how many fields, from IT, robotics, doing a lot of projects, European, international, concerning other, not just Europe, China, and so on. We are doing a lot of internship with other students, companies, and so on and so on. So we have a lot of things that we do. You can go to our site and see what we are doing. This is just some info about our university in general. How many students, how many levels of study. Of course, we have bachelor, we have master, and we have PhD studies. We have some specialized studies concerning some profiles that are specific to current market trends and so on. And you can also get data from these links if you are interested in coming to Serbia or visiting our university. So it's completely okay. This is specifically for Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. We have here, like today's Bologna process, first degree study, second degree study, and third degree study. So we are having some, let's say, exchangeable programs with different universities, like Berlin, Bremen, and so on. We are now in the process of getting some interchange program on master studies with Gdansk on Poland. So we will see. I think it will happen soon. And these are the departments that are currently in our faculty. I come from Department of Production and Information Technologies. I finished production engineering or manufacturing engineering, but last 20, 30 years, I'm a little bit old. I was doing, let's say, IT AI or artificial intelligence, biomedical engineering, and applications. So a lot of things, and also in e-learning processes, and that's why I'm now presenting this presentation. But our faculty, as I told you, does a lot of things. We are not just men with toys like machines and something else, but we do a lot of different stuff. Currently, really popular are robotics, food, AI, and IT applications. So we are doing a lot of different things. It's interesting, of course. Now let's go to the topic of today's webinar, or topics. As I said, I will give brief introduction to all of these methodologies, but if everybody is interested in more in-depth analysis of some of the methodology or application of different technologies in some of the methodologies, we can talk, you can contact me, or I can learn from you, you from me. It's not a problem. And today, I'm specifically oriented to atomic learning and to application of VR and AR, or let's say XR technologies generally. And we created a lot of software simulations and software programs, applications for web and for mobile and for desktop and for industrial applications concerning virtual reality. And currently we have one project concerning creating virtual manufacturing processes in education for companies. So these are general topics that we will talk about. But I did some kind of different separation or different order of things that we will talk about. First, just some learning theory, but after that, I will show you some examples. I will show you two platforms that I selected to show you. There are more, but these two are, let's say, currently free to show you. And we will show some content creation for VR for Unity. Again, we don't have too much time, but in some maybe other webinar or some personal consultation, we can see how we can create VR content from different devices like Oculus, MetaQuest, or I don't know, Steam VR, is something like that. So we will see. Of course, there's a time for discussion and what next. Generally, education is some process that we all that are in academia do for some time. For me, it's about maybe 20 years, I think, maybe some year more. And one thing that I learned is that I need to learn, that I always try to improve myself. That's why I start doing IT while I'm doing manufacturing. That's why I start using Unreal Engine, Unity Engine for creating different kind of content. That's why I always listen to other webinars, listen to other people, and try to learn as much as I can, because today, in the general, if you are not, you are a little bit on the downside. So we all need to learn. We also try to use as much as possible the content that are currently available. I don't think just on ChatGPT or AI tools or something like that, but I think that every software, every paper, every research, every sentence on the web or wherever you find it can be very useful. Our students, not just our students, I gave lectures to different countries, different universities around the world. They always have problems when they need to learn how to learn. So that's the main focus, not just give them knowledge, but to teach them how to learn. And that is not just for academia, that is also for elementary education or high school education. So it's very problematic to show them the content, what are you teaching, and how to show them, how to explain them the things. So we have done a lot of things, and the three pillars or three big things that we noticed. That first of all, you need to be properly informed, because if you are not properly informed, if you are wrongly informed, then you are doing things wrong. That you need to be educated, because you need to be educated. You need to learn, you need to have somebody who will show you some things. Okay, you can be self-taught, but it's always good to have somebody like Professor Svetlana told us. Mentoring process is very important process, so you need to have somebody to be over your head and beat you with a stick if you're not good, but to explain you how to do things. And the third thing that is very important, to be connected. Multiple times happened that some things that we shown at our university and our lectures and faculty totally right. Because, for example, we were explaining some theory about function machines, for example, for the modern lathes, CNC lathes, and we were convinced that some things that we said were okay. But when we talked to the company that products this lathe, they told us, you were just partially right, because the novel thing that we introduced improves the things that you taught them. So it's not that, it's a little bit more than that. So it's good to be informed, good to keep contact with companies that are in direct industry, that are in direct production, that are on the market, that know what happens, not just look at your books and see other things. That's why it's very, very, very important. Of course, connection, collaboration, just-in-time introduction, education, training, they're all things that we use to teach us. That's why we have a lot of Erasmus projects to exchange knowledge, to enable collaboration, mobility, to learn from others and others learn from us. That's the, I don't know, maybe one of the most important things that we do. And so that's why our university, our faculty are in a lot of Horizon and Erasmus projects, of course, and other type of projects, but these two specifically. One thing that we are trying here to do is to show some of the teaching process that we do here, but also that are done generally. And what are we trying to do? In general education process, you can use a lot of things. For example, you can use books, you can use material from net, from web. But because we are technical faculty here, we also try to give our students more of the real deal, or to give them knowledge so they can feel it. And when I say feel it, I mean on not just to give them a hammer or something like that, but to show them that they can learn, and they can learn by using different kind of elements like geometrical models, I don't know, 3D, created in some 3D software, that they can use some impulses to learn something. For example, we created some learning platform where you can, the students can learn by doing some things and use external devices, haptic devices, to learn. So it's for them, for example, it was very, very nice. So learning, blending approaches, and to enable them to be quick, to be, let's say, to learn something not in 2 days, 3 days, to learn that in 2 hours, if it's possible. So to save time, to save resources, to be productive. Nowadays, we have, let's say like this, a lot of different approaches to learning and to e-learning, and in general, all types of learning. But I let's say excluded or highlighted two: adaptive education system and intelligent tutoring system. But it is hard to simply just say we have this set and we have this set. No, they can be interconnected, they can overlap, they can do some things. But you will see I put some references to modern learning, but then you can read some papers and so on. But these are the most prominent things that we can use today. Adapting learning is a perfect solution for learning in universities because it's a system that adapts to different things, not just teachers, not just students or trainees, not just to the, I don't know, the circumstances in which you learn. For example, if you're in Africa and you learn in desert, it's a little bit complicated. But if you are learning something in an industrial environment, it's different something in academia. So these systems are very flexible and very approachable to a lot different kind of people and different locations, different environments, and different things. And they can use different things like I don't know, computers, some computers like Raspberry Pi, like some other haptic devices, some VR systems, some gloves that are interactive, some motion capture sensing, and so on and so on. So these systems are adaptive. They can be, let's say, more divided to different approaches to learning, and that's why it's a little bit complex. Intelligent tutoring systems are, in general, good system, and they're usually, let's say like this, compromised of two things. They can use expert systems, like say rule-based system that are the first expert system that was like in 80s maybe shown, that are on the if-then rules in some engine done Lisp or some other kind of language, and they can use logic machines. They're AI supported on logic reasoning, but they also can be supported by AI in some kind of different AI applications or machine learning applications to tutor a student and to show him how to learn and to guide him to the learning process. But of course, if you look at a little bit closer, you can see that they're also adaptable because they adapt to the student, or they adapt to the teaching material, or they adapt to some other circumstances. So it's hard to them, but for me, it's okay to divide them like this because you can separate like that. So you have a tutor who guides you to some process, or you have some way of learning some material. So that's what is applicable here. General, some main shortcomings, but when we say of shortcomings of today's learning, we need to be very careful because sometimes they are there, sometimes not there. Sometimes people who learn or people who teach try to overcome them. For example, in adaptive learning, feedback is introduced. It's used in some learning. Initially, it was not used, but now it is used. But also in some approaches, it is not still used. So in general, we can say we can use it and it's good to use it, but sometimes it can be missed. And of course, there is one problem today, how we present the course material. For example, I will give you this very simple example. This is especially important in engineering, but also it can be applied to other fields. In engineering, when you're teaching some, let's say, topic that is concerned about some process, it's manufacturing, it's construction, I don't know, it's something else, you always teach in the same way. You have a, and you're going to, I don't know, formulas, statement, and so on. And we noticed that some our students are really good in visualization, but they're not so good in accepting the knowledge if you just give them the formula, you use, I don't know, PowerPoint presentation, and just go to like this, like from line to line, from topic to topic, and present them. But we need to little bit be more focused on the way they understand that the things that we show them. So we little bit did some adapting of that thing, and we created some other platform that I will show you a little bit later. So you will see what I mean. So the course presentation is not the same through all students. There is one also very, very big issue to adapt the material to the students with different disabilities, like visual despair, like hearing problems, or some other, I don't know, some other problems. And it's also very important to try to help them to learn, because they also want to learn. So we are trying to do our best to improve that situation. Also, the one thing that's for our region here, especially specifically for Balkan, we have dual education. We have, let's say, business cooperation, but it's not always a bidirectional connection, because for business, it's hard to always be connected to university and to tell them, hey, this is new, this is good, this is very important, this is super for you, for your students. They need to learn that. They do that just when they need more workers or they need students to go to practice for them. So it's very important to create some kind of connection that it will be, let's say, live, constantly, 24 hours, so that business breakthrough in business, in marketing, that can come to a university, not just we see some paper, very interesting paper that somebody did something or something like that, and we tell business, hey, you can do this thing like that because it's very important, very new, and so on. So we need to make more stronger connection between business and academia. That's specifically for engineering, but also the problem with that also was with pedagogy, philosophy, and so and that kind of science, because in Serbia also, when you teach philosophy, you teach people to teach in schools or something like that, but they are again taught how to teach in a sense that they teach in the same way for every student, every pupil, every trainee. So we need to change. Also, adaptive learning nowadays, for our time, is a technique that uses data-driven instruction, or let's say data-supported way of teaching, to apply some learning experience, learning practice to each individual student. And this system can track student progress, engagement, and performance. And these systems are usually applied through some kind of platform. For example, if you want to use Moodle as a platform, you can use it. Then you can use, for example, online learning platforms like Udemy or Coursera. They are trying now to create courses that are adaptive to the learning preferences, not just create usual courses. If you ever go to Udemy, I created a lot of courses for Udemy. You can see that there are always some kind of courses that have presentation. They have some text that you can download and see what some presenter talked about the presentation. You can extract that material, you can download on mobile and so on, but they're usually the same presentation, the same video material, the same examples for everybody. Now the idea is to change that and to go to personalized learning. So it's interesting to see what will happen in the near future, but we will see. So adaptive learning, as I said, it's very, very good. Like we said, this is good paper for reading. Okay, it's maybe a little bit older, 2017, but the technology methodology is the same. It's changed the core methodology. And what we need to do is to make adaptive learning really adaptive, or to say we need to adapt it to the learning style, students' knowledge, and something, whatever. For example, it's very important to understand the background of the student, because the student, not just in sense what he learned in the previous period in high school or something like that, but the background, let's say like this, the background where he comes from, the region, the city, there's different ways of understanding concerning your location geographical that it's wrong also. For our intelligent tutoring system, like I said before, adaptation is performed in real-time communication between the student and the mentor in real life doing, but also in intelligent systems, you can use real-time responses from students, but you can also use afterwards responses from the students for feedback learning. But it's very important to use whatever technique is on your disposal to make, let's say, to make a course applicable for the student. So it's very, very important. I also have some here, I put the site where you can see in short some types of learning, because I think it's important just to know the methodologies. But when you look behind, it's all of the methodologies are related to the real-time practices of the people that conduct teaching. So it's from real life. Life-based learning is a paradigm for learn while you're living, or entire life. Work-based learning, learn while work, project-based, do some project, experimental learning, do by some experiments. I don't know, enjoy while you're learning, do learning while you're enjoying, and something like that. So it's always good to have some strong connection with learning approach that suits the students that you're teaching to, or the, let's say, the material that you're teaching to and the way that you are representing. So there are lots of variations, lots of combinations, lot of intersections, a lot of applications for different kind of materials. So it's okay for you. For example, I put some, I don't know, maybe 3-4 topics, fine, I don't know how many, for some kind of learning that are, let's say, practical or applied in academia. These are very, very good things, because case-based teaching is based on real-life examples that you can use to gain some experience or to gain some knowledge through common experience. You can solve some problems from real life. For example, I will give you another practical example that we have here, master studies concerning some polymer plastic extraction or manufacturing plastic, let's say like that. So we have company here that is very proficient in that kind of work, and we use the problems they have and that they allow us to use them in studies, and to teach our students how to solve these problems, real life problems, because they know what the problem can arise in the company when they finish studies. So they are learned about the things they can have. So they are prepared, like going to practice or dual education. So it's very, very good for them to know what is going on. Experiential learning, it's direct experience. It's similar to case-based, of course, studies, but we can use them. This is, let's say, like, they're all like dual education, but this is a possibility to combine theoretical knowledge that you gain through direct studies or teaching with practical application. That's very, very, very important for them to learn, to know how to apply what they learn, because it's a big problem to gain a lot of theoretical knowledge and a small amount of practical knowledge, especially in this kind of field. But in different fields, for example, social studies or something, it's a little bit different, but also they need some kind of experiment, or they need some kind of practical examples or practical solutions to understand. Gamification, it's one of the things that everybody likes. So that everybody likes to learn by using games, different kind of games, not just computer games, but I don't know, games like boards or Dungeons and Dragons, something like that. And they were shown that this kind of learning is very, very good, not just for academia. It's also good for students in high school or for elementary school, because it's enable students to use their imagination, because when you use imagination to understand things, it's much easier to understand a lot of things. And this gamification is introduced because people saw that involvement of today's kids or today's students is much more bigger when you play mobile games or play even cardboard games or something like that. Uh, and also, when you integrate some kind of game into the platforms for e-learning, but games, educational games, it's very, very good for students to learn. For example, on biomedical studies, biomedical engineering studies, we are using virtual surgeon software, which is game in essence, developed, or they might put developed, but it's distributed through Steam platform, and we can use to show some things, anatomy and so on to the students. It's okay. It's completely game which you can use to explain our students that biomedical engineering is complex, but it can be shown in a little bit more fun way, not just little bit very hard way. So this is the thing that students like the most. Also, we have flipped learning. It's kind of learning that you don't use direct learning in classroom, but uh, let the students learn before the class, show the material, send the material, give them presentation, take them to the nature to see animal life or I don't know what, and then use them in classroom to exchange knowledge, to discuss, to ask questions, to do something that is very, very, very interesting for them. So this is kind of learning that can be especially useful to prepare for the class and to know what the problem of your students are.
Dr. Vitkovic,
Yeah,
sorry for interruption, but I didn't ask you before the session started. When we are supposed to ask you questions, because I already have a few, through the chat during your presentation, or by the end, or just raising hand throughout all the presentation, or what would you
I don't know.
prefer?
I think it's better maybe to finish, or I don't know.
Okay.
I think that we need to finish, then we can ask every question or
Okay.
something.
Okay. Meanwhile, if someone is interested, please put in the chat your
Yes,
question,
yes.
and we will try again to devote some time to answering. Thank you very much. Sorry for
I
this.
will leave time for the discussion, so it will
Yeah.
be
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, this is just an addition to. I know that you all know about STEM, but as you can see now in nowadays projects for Erasmus specifically, you have fields that are I don't know how to say, but interested for the Erasmus or interested for European Commission. For example, women in STEM is very approachable and very good for projects, and it's very nice to include STEM in every education because it helps you to let's say like this build capabilities of students to better do problem solving, to be creative, to be critical, to be, let's say, capable to do things in a team, not just by themselves, to understand more about IT and application of the IT, because today our students are very excellent in using social networks, mobile phones from YouTube or some other things. But when the time comes to use, for example, phone or laptop for some hard work, there are a lot of problems. I know that because I did a lot of IT courses online and on site and on, and I can see that they know what Word is, MS Word, but how to use MS Word the proper way, oh, there are a lot of problems. But I thought they can, but no, it's not the case. So, for example, this is very good to bring their literacy to the some higher level, and of course, you can show them always the dashboard with some examples that they can get some kind of salary maybe this is not enough for them, or for somebody in Serbia, this is good money. So it's very nice to have this kind of things. We are trying to use this STEM in our education, and we are using it, but not just STEM, but some extensions like STEAM with double E that use economics, or with A that use art and something like that. So it's okay. In this section, I just put some references, little bit, let's say, newer, that give good overview of these methodologies. Like I said, this is the first webinar, so I was a little bit puzzled how to show some of the methodologies, but if we want, we can do some, let's say, dive deep into some of this methodology and go, I don't know, for AI application or machine learning or neural networks or SES and so on, to see how to use our ontologies for learning. So for now, this is just overview. You can use them, and of course, others. Internet is full of references. Concerning all of these methodologies that I shown you, their introduction, let's say, introduction to the some question that arise, and this question is very important, or let's say, how to create sustainable system in a sense that it was self-preserving, that will enable constant improvements by using modern solutions, which will be tailored to the student needs. Every student, regular student, I don't know, very smart student, student with disability, student with less rights, student coming from different countries, and the system that will enable that those students have general and certified knowledge, and enable that they can learn every day, I don't know, for the whole life or when they want. So how to answer this question? This is very important for every man, every woman, every child to learn always, and to be able to learn, to have, I don't know, let's say, access to the learning database. Now you have internet, and you can look for everything that you want, but when you're having some kind of learning platform that can enable this, it's, let's say, more accessible and more achievable to get to some knowledge quickly and in the way that you want to be displayed to you, shown to you. So to create these kind of platforms, and we have one platform that I will show you, which uses some specifics, and this platform is currently under development. You will see, but its stage is okay for you to understand how we plan to develop this kind of learning. So we are trying to, let's say, include all different society elements like academia, SME, enterprises, public institutions, different research institutions, everything. So to create some kind of environment or hub, like you said before, for mentoring, to have different kind of information. Also, we are trying to enable collaboration. It's good that we have Erasmus and Horizon and other type of projects, because we already established a very, very large database of people like your access that you mentioned. We are also part of that network, like Professor Svetlana knows. So it's very, very important. But also today, in today's science applications industry, it's very important to be personalized. As you know, personalized medicine is a top topic today, to provide personalized medical or healthcare to every individual patient, which is very hard, but very important. We saw that. We participated in some of these projects, but they were successful, so our patients are still alive. So it's very, very good to do that. For example, this is just one small example. I didn't want to bother you with specifics, because we've done a lot of models for education in medical education. For example, you have available models of people or people organs or bones, skeletal system, and so on online. Google has, I don't know, different kind of libraries, has it. So it's wide, but it's problematic when you need to have personalized models or personalized healthcare and to demonstrate personalized application. And we try to create some kind of models which are adaptable and can be applicable in education, but also in clinical practice. For example, you can see here on these three images, mandibula or jawbone. You can see femur or thigh bone, and you can see scapula, which is upper shoulder, which is very problematic bone. And we created these 3D models that are adaptable to the specific patient, or let's say parametric models, which can adapt to the specific patient based on some measurements that you can gain from, example, X-ray or CT scan or something like that. So the medical practitioner, student can see the real patient, just the visual model, general model, generic model, but personalized model of the not just bones, but also organs and so on and so on. Some software that we used in this process are 3D Slicer. There are links here. If somebody wants, I can open them. It's okay. But 3D Slicer is completely free. I will show you later some kind of video that you can see how it's used. CATIA, which is not free. CATIA is very expensive CAD/CAM software, which is used in different kind of industry, but it's very powerful. You can do a lot of things with it, but you can pay a lot of money to do that. But in general, we have a license here on the faculty for that software, but it's educational license and just one commercial license. And production companies like Michelin for tires use CATIA for example, creating tires or some other things. And it's very good software. Like I said, you can do a lot of things with it. And Blender is one of the, as I like to say, one of the most powerful software for free. It's a 3D graphic software, so you can use it to create visualization of, I don't know, any process. You can create games, you can create animation, you can create cartoons, you can create a lot of things. For example, use Blender to create some kind of things for movie industry. And also we use Blender to show our students how to visualize some things, how to create very fast some models that are very applicable. Because Blender, I will show you if you have time how to use it, but it's very good. It's not so easy to understand. It's not too easy to learn, but there are a lot of tutorials on web. I have also tutorials for Blender. If somebody is interested on, I can provide it, but it's good to know this kind of software, especially because it's free, especially. So you can create a really nice game or really nice cartoon using Blender, or really nice educational material for students. For example, how to show them some kind of machine, how it works, and so on. So it's very nice. These two videos enable for me to show you how you can use this. Let's start it for now. How to use 3D Slicer, for example, this left video, and to demonstrate students of engineering, medicine, how to use this free software to use CT data to create personalized models for them to practice. It's very nice for the anatomy students to know how the body functions without using real skeleton or going to pathology and to look at real patient. It's not so nice, but you can use this kind of very nice software completely free. This is very, let's say, like this unique approach, because software for this commercial software is very expensive. For example, Materials Mimics, which is excellent software. No, it's very nice, but the license for our educational license, one license, I think now it's 12,000 euros, just one computer. So it's expensive. And this software, although it has less capabilities than some other commercial, it's completely enough to understand how things in anatomy works. It's very nice software. For example, for these things, I will just little bit fast. You can see here body. You can see some 3D model that you can export, do some things with it, or I don't know, whatever you want. And for example, because today 3D printing is very important, you can use these kind of models. I don't know if it will be seen, but I will show you. You can use this and print some models of the bones. For example, this is part of the humerus bone. It's a arm bone. And you can show the students this kind of bone instead of real bone or some visual model. So 3D printing is also very good thing for learning, not just in medicine, but also in other type of branches, fields. For example, you can use it in geography to print landscapes, to, I don't know, print some areas, everything in physics to print some models for the experiments and so on and so on. So this other video just show you how you can use the previous model that you get from, for example, from Slicer to put it in Cura, which is software, universal software for 3D printers, FDM printing. And you can use it, for example, to prepare the model and to print it on some kind of 3D printer and show to the students they can use, and they can look, and even if it breaks, if they break the model, you can print another. It's not expensive. FDM printing is cheap. It's cheap printing technology. So it's very nice for them to, they can visualize what to do. We also use 3D printing in different areas of education. We print for the schools, the high schools, elementary schools. We print for other faculties. So it's very nice. This is just one example how we give some, I don't know, I think it was a workshop for the students of medicine and engineering, how to use this free software to do things without paying a lot of money, because it's very expensive, really. Pay just to see this and to pay, I don't know how many thousand euros per year. It's not just for learning. It's okay if you are using it in clinic or something like that, but just for education is completely okay. So these are very nice models, but also, for example, this is real educational material that is used in on some subjects concerning orthopedic surgery. For example, this is a real example of the problem that we had here on faculty. Now you see, this is the real patient, which was, let's say, in the time had cancer. As you can see on his chest that some things are missing. In other words, cancer ate it in this area here. So the problem with this patient was to try to replace the missing things. It was very hard because we didn't have much time. We have very little time. I don't know, I think 1 day or 2 days to recreate this, to create models, to make a mold, and then to print it and put it. We will need to work. One of the first thing that we were facing when we start doing this biomedical engineering, and okay, we made it, we created the model, we created everything, and the patient lived, I don't know how many years, and he died, I think, from heart, not from our intervention. That was good for us, not for him, of course. But It was nice. And so we now can show this to the students of orthopedic surgery or engineering, how to do things. Of course, we improve the methods unto that, but the basics, the way that you do things, it's very nice. I'm here showing you just the initial models, not the real models, because whenever time you create 3D models and then when you need to apply it and to create molds and real models and physical models and to use them, there are some adjustments. For example, you need to have some way of controlling the model and the dividing surface and so on. So I will not bore you with that. We show some of our students how to, for example, use external fixators, how to position them, how to by simulation and virtualization. This is also model used in VR, where students can use models and use VR to place the pins, to place the caution wires, to place everything, and to learn how to position all these things in virtual reality before we go to the. So this is some things. Based on all of this, we introduced novel educational methodology that which is using our experience in teaching, our experience in e-learning, our experience in using different kind of methodologies, different kind of approaches in learning. And we try to develop this methodology concerning everything that is out there on the market, even using, let's say, knowledge triangle, education, innovation, and business to support our learning. The NEM methodology is methodology based on some already present approaches, because today it's very hard to develop, but of course we can use something and then develop further. First thing that we introduced was first principle. First principle is general in physics, the thing that you need to understand the system or the basic units of knowledge if you want to move forward. Today, it's very hard to teach people from the basics. Everybody wants to learn now everything. Show me how to do it, I will do it. But in some ways, you need to understand the things. So the first principle is concerned about that, and our technology, NEM, also is about that. What we are using context-based learning, feedback-based learning, adaptable learning, as we already talked about that. And we are a little bit, let's say, proactive and implement different kind of learning technologies. So it's a little bit like said, like a combination of different things, and put everything in a bowl, mix it, and you will get something that is good for all of us and for students, of course. The NEM is based on 3 primary e-learning methodologies. Maybe they're not alone, there are more, but these ones are very good, and these ones were used to create this kind of methodology. Molecular-based learning is a method which is focused on small units of knowledge. So separate knowledge of small units. It's also one of the basic principles of adaptive learning, because it's easier to adapt when you have a lot of material in smaller form. But it's also very good to have a sequence of learning, to know what comes first, what comes second. So sequence learning is a good thing when you want to distribute the material in some ordered way. So it's okay. Intelligent content creation is another thing, or let's say another way of representing knowledge. And this is a very good approach to create sequence of learning in a different way. But NEM extends these methodologies and brings some other stuff, other things to the field, and to create something new. It also let's say like this, we are using these things, these three methodologies, molecular, intelligent content creation as sequence-based learning, but we also add some other things. For example, we don't allow teachers to use their preference to learn somebody in the way they want. We give the teachers opportunity to present the knowledge in the way that trainees want or they need. So we do that by creating that way of learning that uses different kind of methodologies. For example, machine learning is one of them, or expert system or something like that, or ontologies, something. The thing that we question ourselves always is how we should present to the trainee. So this is the one thing. We add also to this methodology the very interesting thing. We add the approach, which is very, very, very attractive in pedagogical approach. For example, if you want to use methodology as a subject that teaches people how to teach others, we also use that to teach our system how to teach the students or the trainees that are using the platform, that are using the system, that are physically here, of course. So add some things to the platform. We call this addition to the name university teaching methodology because we are trying to create that as a universal teaching. We can be applied in every field, in every mathematics, engineering, philosophy, or medicine, biology, I don't know. And we are using our experience, of course. I will now just show you, okay. Okay, we also apply STEM. I don't want to take more time that is needed for this. And to give some, let's say, final conclusion about this methodology is to, we should bring knowledge to everybody. We should adapt knowledge to everybody. We should represent functional and highly innovative synergy of different approaches and to enable students to decide what is good for them. So this is something that we're using. For example, we are trying through one of the projects, Erasmus projects, to create some kind of innovative iHubs, which are using different kind of e-learning platforms to distribute knowledge, cooperation, knowledge exchange between different actors. This is the some hubs that you can use to, I don't know, to apply knowledge, to share knowledge, to disseminate actions, to provide some kind of other actions. I don't know what. Oh, but you can you try to create and form the cooperation between business, case, research, and other institutions. Everybody can join. It's open. It's free. So it's very nice to have this kind of opportunity to learn, of course, especially if material is free. So it's okay. So we are doing some improvements to adapt material. So we are, let's say like this, we are creating the material in that way that can be described differently, that can be adapted to everybody, but we give additional explanation and using first principle and nucleuses to provide complex knowledge and also to enable students to adapt that knowledge for themselves. So we can allow students to say, this explanation is not good for me, and to provide some survey answers that will help us to adapt the learning material. Of course, personalization is our aim, is our main goal. So also Smart Sequence is oriented towards that. So it's we are enabling to create courses that some students want to learn. For example, you can create predefined courses. For example, you can teach them how to solve quadratic equation, but the knowledge that is integrated in that course can be changed and can be applied by separating into atoms and applied it to different course. So we can use atoms not just in one, but in every that we need. For example, if you're learning how to calculate, I don't know, volume of the prism, and you need some kind of theorems or something like that, you can use it from other atoms. So it's completely, also intelligent content creation is completely clear, using NLP, using logical reasoning, using ontologies, using different kind of AI, not just this one, to create some kind of virtual environment for smart content or intelligence content creation. This is just a graphical representation of this that I was talking about. This diagram shows what's the main idea, because let's say in the background, what is the main idea that enables learning by using this atomic principle or using atoms of knowledge? Because when you want to learn about something, we can create material about, for example, here, bolts, pins, key-wires, assemblies, technical elements. We can provide recommendations. We can teach product design by using these atoms, but also we can use these things in different locations. For example, bolts, yes, they are in product design, but bolts are also required when you want to repair your car, when you want to do so, everything. I don't know, assemblies are general term, and they're related to not just machines. They can be related to different kind of structures. So you can use them as small units of knowledge, but you can use them in different contexts, in different set, in different everything that you want. Also, you can, for example, use simulation as some example of some things. For example, you can simulate law analysis. You can simulate how your dog, the force of its bite when he wants to eat some food, or you want to test the load of some machine, whatever, I don't know. So, okay, it's good for one explanation, but we can use it for different kind of explanation. Also, if we explain something by using computer graphics, we can explain it by using computer graphics, but we also can explain it by using audio. We can use images, just images, not computer graphics in the sense of VR or simulation, but images. We can, I don't know, use other kind of means. You can use real life situations. You can take it to the field and show the machine, something like that. So it's different kind of explanation. This is just the explanation that I added, and this is in the some sense the explanation of the diagram before, so I will not go through. So if you need, you can read it. That's why I added here. This is a good thing to say, because atoms are assembled into molecules, create complex knowledge by using small amount of knowledge. So it's not something, it also exists in adaptive learning, but the way you are connecting is more serious here. So I said you can use audio recording, you can use VR application, you can use business simulation, you can use I don't know, SOAP messages, you can use everything to understand things in a way that you want to understand. The true power of these methodologies, they use atoms, nucleus, smart creation, intelligent content creation, sequence learning, different types of learning, blended learning, and so on, is in the material and the possibility to use them as you wish. So that's very, very important. And if you know, you now use ChatGPT, but our students use ChatGPT to write everything, term paper, I don't know, projects, and they think they're very smart, but what we try to learn them. So if you create one course by using this kind of types of methodologies, you can create different kind of courses with different content, with interchangeable atoms. Like here, you can use atom 2 in 2 different molecules, and also you can use them in different courses. So it's just a graphical representation. This is also a comparison of traditional teaching and NEM, or novel educational methodologies. In general, when you teach traditionally, this is more related to engineering, but when you teach traditionally, you use, I don't know, images, still images, PowerPoint representation, you show them, maybe you give them some book, you give something, I don't know, whatever you have. But if you use a little bit more effort and use the tools that you have available, like 3D graphics, like, I don't know, audio recording, and create something visual appealing and something that will interest students to learn, to use it. For example, if you create a simulation of some machine working, of gear of the car, of part of the CNC machine, or I don't know, it's more interesting for them. It's more interesting if they can touch it virtually, for example, if they can change it, if they can break it, if they can move it. It's very nice to do so. Okay, this is just, I give you already example. For example, we have applied these methodologies in some platforms that we created also, but not just us as university, but also our partners from different kind of projects. And we are trying to improve the way our students are learning and to help them to learn, of course, because it's for us and for them it's important to go through faculty as fast as they can and to learn a lot of things, of course, so they can do other stuff. Also, we are trying, as already said, to use the different kind of systems, to include them in our learning process, every partner, every entity in the society. This is very interesting thing because we enable this in our platform. For example, in clinics or in real life situation, it's general the rule, when you have a problem with patient, you decide what's the problem. You do some, I don't know, diagnostic, do something, and you know what you need to do. For example, if you need to use personalized implant, for example, you break your leg or something like that, and you need to put a metal rod in your thigh or something like that, usually the clinics purchased some kind of this equipment and they can use it, but in some cases, standardized equipment is not good. And it's sometimes good to create personalized items. But what is the problem? The problem is that when you need personalized stuff in medicine, it always comes with some limitations. The manufacturer, which produces that kind of stuff, usually is not so familiar with limitations. He knows how to produce a metal rod or metal implant or plate or something like that, but he doesn't know that for this specific case, he needs to produce it in some specific way or use specific materials, because this is very problematic. So our platform can teach him how to produce specifically for this patient and to help him to create a product that can be used very fast, because sometimes it's very fast requirement to recover the patient, because if you are too late, different kind of things can happen. I don't know, patient can go very badly. So it's important to have real access to real-time knowledge and to enable communication between, for example, doctors and engineers. And so this is the idea, to learn fast, to create a system that is capable of doing fast in some situations, of course. This is the platform. Today I'm able to show you one part because it's part of the project, Erasmus project, and it's planned to be released next year completely with completely AI support. So we will wait when the project, you will have the development, let's say development access, but production access will be the complete full address and with full support. Now I will show you, like I said, but it's limited to the rights that we have now. This is standard web platform, standardly created MVC platform. It has database. It uses some kind of, let's say, data or items of knowledge to create different kind of knowledges. And it can use ontologies and it can use machine learning and some different approaches to learning. For example, it uses NLP to read documents and to extract information and to form the documents, but also uses ontologies for domain knowledge. So it's okay. It is different, as I said, this application that I showed today are in development phase. So design is not our priority yet. So don't hate us about that, but functionality is there. And I think the June next year is the day that it will be full released and open, completely open. So you will able to use any material that is there to contact any person who wants to leave her data. So it's completely free. You will be able to use it. There are some just. So I will show you real time, but just to have a presentation if you don't want to go to the platform. So we can do all these things, but considering time, I will just show you. Also, we have one mentor platform, which is from the DINECO project. It's one initiative that's, let's say, one project that tries to create some kind of business courses for startups and so on. And we are having here a mentoring platform which enables them to use it for mentoring startups, for mentoring trainees, specifically trainees, teams of students, industry mentoring, and so on. And it's also, well, let's say 90% finished. This application will be continued in next project, we hope, when we apply, because now it's without AI. Now it's just application that uses some kind of expert system, but very, let's say, it's Joule in Java, but it's very basic, just for some guidance, not for suggesting knowledge or something like that. But it's very nice if you want to teach trainees, to give them material and to give something for them. So I provided here instructions and site and so on, so you can see it, you can log in and everything else. The last thing that is now very popular and that I am very fond of, because I am in computer graphics more than I'm in programming. I am from 90s, last century. It's a little bit a long time ago. But when I was doing some commercials for Amiga, Commodore Amiga, I also started using computer graphics. So I am in VR from, let's say, end of 90s and so on. After that, AR came and so on and so on. So I really like this area because it's full with a lot of different stuff. You have a lot of possibilities. You have, let's say, a very, very good way to display your knowledge. But VR is kind of a little bit questionable area because a lot of people don't like it because there are a lot of health issues. Modern solutions are still not completely without problems, even Meta Quest 2 or I don't know, Microsoft tools. But it's good. If you can use it for some teaching, it's very nice to create something. For example, for history, for art, for architecture, for design, for everything. It's very nice. For example, this is nice thing. We had it for one project. This is kind of VR, but 360 VR, and you can use to go to some different things and see different things. This is our laboratory at our faculty. And you can, I don't know, learn a lot of stuff. You can show something. It's bright project like this. This is also my some kind of presentation. It's not important what's about presentation, but it's about some things that we did on some other things and so on and so on. So it's okay. So we can use a lot of things, and it's 360, nothing more. I think that I put the same link for the both. Never mind, you see the link. And it's nice. It's very nice when you visually show something to the students. They can see laboratory, they can see, for example, material testing and something like that using virtual environment. But this is 360, it's not completely VR because you're not using VR headset, or you're not using AR glasses, for example, to see real and mixed reality, let's say like that. Why is this very nice for the people? Because you can create this kind of content with very little knowledge about how to create content for VR. It's really very complex. If you look the mathematics, if you look the physics, if you look what's behind the algorithm, behind these technologies, but you don't need to know that. You just need to learn how to use software which can create this kind of content. For example, I'm using Unity and Unreal. Unity is excellent. Let's say it's a platform which enables different kind of solutions, and it's good for people which are not so in techniques, in IT. You need to be in IT, but it's easier than Unreal. Unreal is older engine. It's more capable engine, but it's a little bit complex. For example, to do in Unreal, it's good if you know C++ as programming language very good. You don't need to know it, but it's easier for you to develop things. In Unity, you need to know C# as modern language, but you can also do a lot of stuff without knowing the language, just using the software. For example, in this situation, I just gave you some instructions, but you have a lot of tutorials for Unity on the Unity site. This is also from tutorial from Unity, and it's very easy to start working. There are a lot of tutorials also on Udemy, Coursera, like I told you before, but it's very easy to understand how to work. If you want to create some material for education for students, or I don't know, for somebody. So this is very, very good. For example, I think that this is Unity. I opened it and I put the, let's say, VR starter pack, the project that you can use, and it's free project from Unity that you can use to create initial content for VR. What is the thing for VR? Firstly, you need to create something in 3D. That's first thing, if you are going to use VR. So you can move forward, backward, you can left, right, up, down, as you wish. But you also need to understand that when you are creating VR world, you are creating for the devices that are out there. For example, you are creating for Meta Quest, for example, or for Oculus, or for some other HTC or something like that. So you need to take into consideration that it will be displayed on that equipment, and that will be used by that equipment. Of course, you can create it universally if it's some simple thing, but it should be little bit considered. So this is very nice environment. I always, when I work in Unity, I change the layout, because for me, for example, this is simple layout. And in this starter pack that everybody can use, you can, for example, add some scene to the environment, and you can change the name. I don't want to lose my time for that. You can also do some different devices, but I will let you do that. You can, let's say, let's see what we want to do. Let's say maybe here. Yes, there is something. Let's say like this. Because this is, say like this. For now, for example, I'm adding some room to the environment. This is good because this is a starter pack, and you can use it. Like I said, you have objects, different kind of objects, prefabs in Unity, like objects in object-oriented programming. You can create more instances of the same object. If we relate it to the games, for example, you can create one bullet and like prefab, and then when you are shooting with your gun, you can multiply it. So it's something like that. We can also like to see what we can add. Okay, this will be interesting. Just to see what is this. No, let's say this. Let's say like that, just to see how are we. Okay. For example, we add some environment. I don't know. Let's say foreground. I don't know what will be this. Like this. Like buildings. And you can do a lot of stuff. For example, this doesn't need to be building. You can create some, like I said, engineering some machine, and you can work with this, and you can create. This is how it looks when you put it in a game mode. So you see this down there, and this is just 3D models that are in the scene with camera and light and everything else. You can also move a little bit to see what's behind. You can put a lot of things here, and you can do a lot of things. So I'm now like 5 to 10 minutes, 5 minutes maybe in Unity. I already placed some buildings, already placed some things. Of course, you may need to first create those things, and to create these objects, like using Blender or some other software, you can use, I don't know, Maya, whatever you want, and create 3D Studio and create these objects. But also, you can use, let's see, for example, what we can just fast add. So let's see this. Let's, for example, this. Okay, let's just play it for. It's good thing that you can use this kind of software to create applications. For example, these two balls are generally what I see in the VR. For example, if I use Meta Quest toolkit equipment, then I will see like this. These are my eyes, and I will see this. So I can go here. I can go. For example, you created the VR project in very 5 minutes. So it's not so complicated. And if you want, just to exit, if you want, you can, let's see here. You can, for example, you can do development for different kind of platforms. You can do desktop, I think Windows. You can do, I don't know, different kind of, let's say for Android, HTML5, so you can do different things, but we need some support. Or you can do different things. So this is the possibility to use VR. unfortunately, just to see something, sorry, okay. This is the platform currently that I was talking about. And this platform can be used. I hope I remember the parameters. And this platform currently have some courses created. As you can see, this is from the Call Me project, Erasmus project. And we created these courses using data or atoms of knowledge, which is here. There are a lot of, I think, elements. Well, maybe some elements are repeated. I don't know really, because our students using it, so they're putting everything there. They don't think about that. But you have the links. You can see what is here. Of course, this platform will be updated in the, I don't know, maybe 1 year, following year. So it will be okay for the people to use. There are, I don't know, courses, data, people who are joining the courses, there are surveys. I don't know, I think I deleted some of them to show you. There are users and so on and so on and so on and so on. So it's okay. This is a mentoring platform. I think that I have here also, which can be used for developing different programs. For example, Digital Innovation Accelerator program, like I said, this is in business. I'm not completely in management and business. I'm engineer. I'm not in that, but of course, this is very nice because we can do different kind of things like creating programs for mentoring sessions, projects, seminars. We can also, I think that we added also, yeah, we can also, for example, create seminars, create surveys for the students or trainees that conducted seminars to give them some badges. For example, he finished everything, platinum badge, and so on and so on. So you can test it. You can tell us if somebody thinks that it could be done better. Maybe we are missing this, that, and so on. It's okay. It's live thing. We can always change it, upgrade it, and so on. I hope that in following period I will have the permission to show you some other stuff, because some other stuff is a little bit more interesting, but it's not yet publicly available because it's fully AI supported. This is not yet AI supported fully. So, but it's okay to see the development phase, development stage, and so on. So these are some things that we are using. This is all for Unity. I just now I place this because I think that when we start something, there's always more possibility at the end. For example, we can specifically focus on some methodology or some approach. We can see AI in teaching specifically, but focus on that, just on that. Then we can see some already developed applications for e-learning like Moodle. Even now, Moodle is really becoming really big and really complex and really hard to maintain, but it's still very nice. Also, some other platforms that are not intended for e-learning, but is now are applicable, like Drupal, which is PHP framework. Then we can see specifically and focus only on VR and AR. Then how to use specific equipment for learning, for example, for people with disabilities, how to create specific devices for people with disabilities. For example, how to create gloves for orthosa, which enables you to fully use your hand, and so on and so on and so on. So there are so many topics that can arise from this, and of course, it's good. Okay, now I was trying to be fast on the end because I'm looking at the watch, so to leave time for discussion. Thank you very much for listening.
I also thank you very much, Dr. Vilkovic, for joining us today. And I saw a lot of comments. They are all interested in getting your presentation afterwards. At your access, we share everything for free. And all of our activities for researchers and services for researchers are for free. So Dr. Vitkovic was so kind to provide his presentation. He will enable us to upload it on the event website. So please ask questions, Juliet.
Hi, thanks so much for the presentation. Yeah, my question is about, so in these adaptive learning methodologies, I think eventually we need to sort of grade the students. They need to take some sort of test. But how do you see that happening with adaptive learning methodologies? Does each student get their own test that may be different from the next students? Do we measure with these tests how much they have learned throughout the course, or do we somehow still compare them together, even though maybe they have learned sort of in the end different things? Do you see my question?
Yeah, I understand you. The one thing is when we use adaptive learning and we try to measure what we taught them, now there are generic tests. For example, 10 questions for everybody. But what is the issue there? It's always good to have group questioning, or let's say the same survey for whole group. But if we are trying to do personalized learning, then let's say like this, we allow the students to create a question for us that will help us to create questions for them. I hope that you understand me, that the feedback, the real-time feedback for student is adaptive learning is the most important thing, because it enables them to use personalized surveys. It's possible. It's possible. We use them in one of the tests of the applications, and it was okay. But also, we did the standardized testing, the surveys for everybody. So it's a good thing.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Vitkovic, in your opinion, there is a question in the chat. In your opinion, what are the most time-efficient teaching methods for the teacher, but still efficient for learning?
Not to teach at all. It is the fast. The fastest, but just leave the classroom.
I don't see any hand raised, so allow me to ask you a question. In relation to the methods or the technology to include in the method, how we choose? Is it always based on the background of the students or their needs, or there are any generally applicable methods or technologies that are always applicable and related to the goals of the teaching?
Let's say like this. When we create material for learning, I am referring to the methodologies that I displayed and to the name methodology. We are trying to create material in that sense that everybody can use the material by their preferences. For example, we create course and teach them something, how to use something, how to develop something, how to create something. And then we let them to choose what will they learn specifically what they need. For example, we have a lot of industry students that need to learn something. But for example, if I created course that tries that its duration is maybe 2 semesters, and I have industry learner, he needs to get knowledge from that course, but he only needs to get partially, because why does he need to know everything about something? He just needs to apply it, and then he can choose just these individual topics or individual parts and learn. And we have a lot of that. So we just give them. Of course, it's free. We just give them there and just that for explanation. I hope you understand me. It's general and personalized.
Yes, I see. So in general, there is nothing that works always. You have to more or less give the opportunity to the audience to choose this part of knowledge that is relevant for them.
Yes, yes.
And another question from the chat. How can assignments be designed to accommodate the growing use of AI tools like ChatGPT among students? Students are able to complete assignments with AI assistance, making it difficult to detect.
Not so difficult now. Because now you have tools, we can, I think 99.9% detect use AI in solving the problems. And not just that, because when we use AI to create assignments for AI, you can detect that some other tool is used. For example, if ChatGPT or OpenAI or something like that is used, it can be detected. But when you have a lot of students and when you just going through the assignments and resolve them, sometimes you can miss, but AI can detect AI.
I understand. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Vitkovic. And considering this high interest that was shown here, we may arrange another more specific webinar on concrete tool, and for this reason we will most probably explore the interests among our audience. Thank you once again for joining us. Thanks to everyone for coming to the webinar, and you will receive the recording and the material on the event page. Thanks. Thanks, and have a nice evening for those that are here in Europe. For all the rest, thank you for using your rest time for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank
Thanks.
you all. Bye bye.